Happy New Year, 2025 going to the rear view as we go headstrong into 2026 with a smile on our face. As of me making this video right now, we're about like an hour out from the New Year's Eve ball dropping in New York. I don't know why I said an hour out. I even looked at the time. It's 9:30 p.m. as of me making this, so pretty substantial rounding down. Doesn't matter. What does matter though is that ball, that sacred orb, convinces people to literally shed themselves of basic dignity and human instinct in order to wait for hours upon hours in the cold temperatures in New York, unmoving, unwavering, just so they can watch it happen in person. And the meta has been for a while, if you attend one of these, you wear a diaper, so that way you don't have to like lose your spot to go find a bathroom to relieve yourself. You just piss and shit yourself right then and there. So every year you see the horror stories and the aftermath about people that literally just fucking bowels explode, asshole prolapses, pee all over the place, all just so they can watch the ball drop. And I had a few friends of mine send me a video, I guess is floating around a lot today, about a guy who got interviewed on his strategy for handling nature's call, and he uses pads. This is actually from a couple years ago, but the meta hasn't changed, and I'll show you a clip from today.
If you leave and you have to use the bathroom or even get water,
you lose your spot.
That's the problem.
So what do you do with the bathroom?
What do you do? I'll show you exactly what you do. Okay? Hold on. Let me see. Let me try and find this here.
Okay, now I
see these pads?
Yeah.
You have to pee in these pads. Let me show you.
But you're a man. What do you do if you're a woman?
Everybody's equal. Nobody's any different.
What an inspirational, uplifting message. We're all equal. Nobody's different. If you're there in New York for the ball drop, you're surrounded by piss. It's a goddamn flood of it, and everyone's doing it. You're not cool unless you pee your pants. Men, women, they're all doing it. It's just a matter of what apparatus they're using to catch it. This guy here's got his go-go gadget period pads out for his urine. Lord help us if he has to take a shit. You know that's probably going straight onto the ground because I don't think the pads are built to handle that kind of heft. But, you know, this is pretty standard procedure for New Year's Eve in New York. For some reason, people have convinced themselves that seeing that ball drop is the most important thing for the start of the upcoming year. So they're willing to usher in the next year with piss and poop in their pants. It blows my mind. I don't get it. I truly don't get it. That is miserable. Not only are you pissing and shitting yourself, but everyone around you is too. You are in a sea of filth. It is a cesspool. You are basically in a communal latrine, diving in there just to watch 60 seconds of a ball dropping in front of you. Now, of course, there's concerts and stuff, but you're probably not seeing those if you're like that guy at the front of the line, you know, barging his way to the very front so he can look at the ball like he's hypnotized by it.
Oh, you just put it in your underwear?
That's exactly what you do.
And then you switch and you have like a bag, like a...
It stays there. It stays there.
This will hold for the whole day?
You make it will stay for the whole day, yeah.
Oh, this is what you do?
I will be wearing
diaper.
See?
What?
I'm wearing diaper.
The diapers?
See? This is what... Yep.
This is not a diaper though. This will not
It works
hold.
too. It works too.
It works?
You're a lady. You should know it
No,
works.
it's not working.
It works.
It's not. I wouldn't try it.
Dude's out here driving the hard sale like he's trying to get a used car off the lot. It's like he's advertising these pads that he's trying to sell them to everyone there. But most people are going by the standard meta protocol of using a diaper, which is very common for this. I just find that so revolting. I think it's so beyond gross and just like embarrassing. I can't imagine a worse way of starting a year, quite like being surrounded by piss and shit while also sporting my own underpants full of piss and shit. And even, let's say, in a fantasy scenario, ideal circumstances, no bubble guts, you've been fasting for 48 hours prepping for this, you haven't drank a sip of liquid for the last 24, so you are able to go through this entire thing, this wait, as well as watching the ball drop without soiling yourself at all. That's still terrible because everyone around you has. The guy next to you's probably got mud pies in his britches, person in front of you probably stinking up the place with the fumes from the lemonade they're cooking up in their trousers. Like, it's terrible. I'd be starting the new year in the worst possible mood, putting myself through that torture. I do not get it. I never have. I never will. And like I said, that's a couple years old. You can see in the background, it's talking about bringing in a great 2024. But nothing's changed. This is still very normal for New Year's Eve, it seems. So here's a clip from today.
Are you coming prepared by most people wearing diapers here?
Yeah, I wear a diaper. I'm wearing a diaper now.
Okay, do you have extra just in case anybody needs one?
Yes, I got this. A diaper.
Awesome. So you're able to bless somebody if they did not wear one?
I bless them not peeing, especially in front of me, you know.
Awesome. Well, thank you for coming out, guys. Hope you guys have a great New Year. Can I get you guys to say Happy New Year?
I gotta tell you, no one is happier about New Year's Eve celebrations than Depends. The executives at the top of the food chain of that company must just be the happiest people on the planet every time New Year's Eve rolls around. Sales skyrocket. But anyway, I mean, if people enjoy it, all power to them, I suppose. I don't personally understand it, but if you're out there right now, piss, poop all over the place, waiting for that ball to drop, Godspeed to you. I hope it's a cherished memory going forward. Hopefully it'll kick off your 2026 in the best possible way. For me personally, I think it's a lot more convenient just to hang around friends and family to start the year off right, being around people you know and love that aren't soiling themselves around you, attacking your senses with their waste fumes. But anyway, 2026, right around the corner. That's about it. So yeah. Wow. I just learned about the Switzerland ski resort fire last night, and what a devastating tragedy. At a ski resort bar, a fire broke out that claimed the lives of 40 people, and over 100 have been injured. As of me making this video right now, those are the numbers that are reported, and it is just heartbreaking. And what made me want to talk about it is there's a lot of videos floating around of people that were filming the fire instead of prioritizing escaping it. So there's videos of people that were still actively partying while filming this fire. Like, there's still music playing and everything, and people just not taking it seriously. They're busy filming it for social media. And I can't believe it. Social media has reached the point where it overrides people's basic survival instincts. To see people actively still partying as the entire building is being engulfed in a blazing inferno is unbelievable to me. There's multiple videos like this. So you can see tons of people's phones are out here. So you get like a whole 360-degree video of this fire building until it is completely out of control, which doesn't take long. That's how fire works. And then people panicking, scrambling to escape, but for some it was just way too late. 40 people died in this. It's fucking tragic. And I still just can't believe that people would be like filming and partying while something like this is happening instead of escaping or helping others to escape as well. Like, maybe there were people that didn't know this was going on, and someone filming could have instead, let them know, like, hey, we got to get the fuck out of here or something. It's so weird to me that we've reached a point where people would prioritize social media updates as opposed to their own life. You know what's a lot cooler than a few handful of likes on TikTok? Being alive. I urge anyone watching this to remember that at the end of the day, social media is not the most important thing in your life. Your life is the most important thing in your life. So anytime there's something like a fire going on, don't think of it as like a potential unique content opportunity. I feel like so much of the world has become incredibly geared towards like content brain 100% of the time, when it just shouldn't be that way. You should always be trying to prioritize your actual life as opposed to like your digital footprint and whatever you do online and all that kind of thing. It's just very very sad to see this.
Celebration in the Swiss Alps shows the chaos as the deadly flames spread at a bar popular with young people and tourists. You can hear the screaming, people scrambling for the exit as the flames rip through the confined spaces of the bar Le Constellation. Swiss authorities say about 40 people were killed and more than 100 injured in the fire that began at 1:30 a.m. The cause of the blaze now under investigation.
It's extremely hard to watch that footage. It's gut-wrenching. Now, in the news segment, they mentioned that the cause of the fire was still under investigation. As of me making this now, it appears they have a lead on it. They believe that sparklers were what caused it. The sparklers appeared to have led to what is referred to as a flashover incident where the fire spread very rapidly. Investigators would assess soundproofing foam used in the ceiling and whether anyone needs to be held criminally liable for the fire. The sparklers they're referring to are champagne bottle sparklers. Now, I've seen this picture floating around, which seems legitimate, but in the age of AI, I can never really be sure anymore. But I've seen this in quite a few different places, including actual publications. But even still, I always take everything with a whiff of uncertainty because, again, it could be, phony baloney AI. But in that picture, the soundproofing, the foam on the ceiling, that does match what appears to be catching on fire in the videos that were filmed. So, regardless, it seems like it was the champagne bottle sparklers that started this incident, and it spread the fire very rapidly. It immediately reminded me of the 2003 Station nightclub fire, which killed 100 people, and the fire started in a very similar fashion where the acoustic foam paneling caught on fire during pyrotechnics. Here, the sparklers caught that foam on fire. Now, I believe the venue should be held liable. Now, of course, I'm not a Switzerland authority, nor am I a fucking fire marshal or anything like that. I am a 5'6" homunculus layman. But I feel like if you are going to be selling champagne with sparklers on top, you probably also shouldn't have exposed, highly flammable foam paneling, where if a sparkler is raised a little too high, it can just cause all of it to ignite. That's clearly a huge problem and a big oversight to be combining these two things. It is a recipe for disaster. Now, I don't know if this was like the first year this bar did the sparklers and champagne thing or not, because if they were doing it previously, I'm surprised it wouldn't have happened sooner if the layout and the materials have stayed exactly the same. Like, that does seem to just be a glaring issue to have that there while also selling sparklers. But anyway, I saw in an article that one of the bar owners said that it's been inspected 3 times in 10 years and it passed the regulations. Again, I'm a fucking idiot when it comes to this kind of thing, but that feels like a very little amount of inspection to be conducted over the course of a decade. I feel like, and keep in mind, I'm not the owner of an event space or anything, but I feel like in order to ensure the safety of patrons, you would want that to be inspected a little more often than 3 times in 10 years. A lot can change over the course of that period of time. So I just feel like in order to ensure due diligence and ensure materials are still up to code and everything's still, as it should be, I would have expected that to be a little bit higher. And I've seen people questioning, well, what are the regulations when it comes to this kind of thing there? Like, I haven't seen any reports on if there were, like, sufficient escapes, Like, maybe there weren't enough escape routes for people to exit in case of emergency. I haven't seen anything about that as of me making this video right now, so there's just a lot of question marks in the air. But based on the videos I've seen, it really feels like this venue will likely be held liable, at least in some sense, for the fire, because it doesn't make sense why they would even be doing these sparkling champagne bottles while having known flammable material on the ceiling. And it's not like the ceiling is like 50 feet high where it would never touch it or anything. You can reach it by holding the champagne bottle up a little higher than you normally would. Again, at least based on some of the videos I've seen. So, like there's a video of the guy hitting the hitting the roof or the ceiling that has fire breaking out on it, where you can see the paneling. He's hitting it while standing with his shirt, so you can easily reach that. So if you're selling sparklers, which can start fires, and you're surrounded by this not super high ceiling that is full of these flammable materials, that's a problem. So personally, I just can't imagine authorities coming back and being like, oh yeah, the venue's not at fault at all. This is actually, totally normal. Because it just doesn't feel like it should be. In that case, maybe we need to update the fire inspection protocol over there, because I don't think you should be mixing flammable foam paneling with fucking champagne sparklers. It's an absolute fucking disaster. And it's so tragic, man. It's just so fucking sad. 40 lives lost, over 100 people injured on what is supposed to be an extremely happy celebratory day. It's so fucking awful, man. Anyway, wishing the best for everyone affected, all families, everyone that survived it as well. Just terrible stuff. Truly awful stuff. That's really about it. So yeah. Good morning, traveler. You're looking awfully well rested. I'm jealous. Wish I could say the same. I missed out on shut-eye again for the millionth time over the last 12 months. I tell you, that insomnia's powerful spell got me in the nipple clamps. But it's not about me. I'm not here to just trauma dump on you. What say you to listening to me regale a riveting story? Have you heard of the High Elves? Every one of them dirty bastards done started an OnlyFans. Point I'm making, OnlyFans is everywhere now. If you open your mouth to take a breath, the first thing that gets into your lungs is not oxygen, it's fucking OnlyFans being shoved down your throat. It is inescapable. The only thing more popular than OnlyFans is gambling. The two healthiest pillars of a sane society, gambling and OnlyFans. And as you may have guessed, I haven't slept again. And in an effort to make myself sleepy, I started just doom scrolling, which never fucking works. But I did stumble across a very interesting feud in the OnlyFans world where a creator is calling out the queen of OnlyFans, Sophie Rain, the LeBron of lingerie, the Tiger Woods of wood, the Tom Brady of lady, the Wayne Gretzky of latex ski. I'm just fucking pulling this out of my butthole right now. I'm going crazy with it. Sophie Rain is like the most popular creator on OnlyFans. You probably heard her name before because she's often flexing how much money she makes through OnlyFans. Unfathomable wealth, where she's posting screenshots claiming that she's making over $90 million through it and providing like proof to back up her claims and constantly defending that she's making this millions upon millions and millions of dollars there. And there's a creator calling that out as fake. And this creator actually has receipts to prove it. It feels like pretty strong evidence that those might not be accurate. And not only is she calling out Sophie Rain, but some people that are closely associated to Sophie Rain who are allegedly doing similar things with fake screenshots with their earnings being fudged.
Hey Piper, I saw you deleted this fake statement since we saw the typo, and you've replaced it with this new fake statement, and you've added another million onto your net. I don't blame you. It's your first day on the job and we all make mistakes. I blame your management, the same management the Bop House uses, that's known for lying and scamming all their fans. I really hope you do better, because the shit that you bitches do is not cool.
This is that initial tweet screenshot, allegedly. Big whoopsie-daisy there. You can see that she forgot to get rid of the other money sign there. So that's clearly incorrect. And she deleted it and then posted another one with that error fixed. Piper Raquel's name is one that I've heard pretty recently because it's a pretty controversial story here where she was like a kid star or child influencer, some shit like that. And then very soon after she turned 18, she started an OnlyFans page to do OnlyFans content. And then starts flexing how she made $1 million in 24 hours. And then, no, it's actually $2 million, her first couple days on the job, that kind of thing. Which I know has happened before, like with Danielle Bregoli, Bad Baby. I know when she turned 18, she started an OnlyFans, and a bunch of those fucking weirdo freaks were like, waiting, salivating on bated breath for her to open that OnlyFans, and they all gave her a bunch of money. I know that happened. It's just so fucking weird. Also, apparently she had paid a visit to the Bop House to collab with them when she was still 17. Bop House is a OnlyFans content creator house. Why are you collabing with a minor? A lot of people are speculating that they were trying to like push her into doing OnlyFans, and like them collabing was them trying to get her like, you know, into the idea of opening OnlyFans when she's 18. Maybe to like lock her into a contract with the Bop House management team or something like that. Who knows? But it's still fucking weird no matter how you spin it. Anyway though, back to the feud itself. Jamie Liz is pointing out the fraudulent screenshot here, talking about how that's not real. Which it clearly isn't. It was photoshopped.
Is Camilla. So the next bitch on my hit list is Camilla from the Bop House. You know, the one that used her little minor brother for views, asking him to talk about how pink her pussy is? Yeah, that one. This is her supposedly deleted OnlyFans, active, saying available now. And then when I asked her about it here, are you gonna delete it? Just asking, because that's what you're saying all over your social media, babe. Just confused. She blocked me. That's why it says chat unavailable. And here's yet again another lying, scamming bitch to come out of the Chopped House. But this one's extra weird. She used her family to promote it.
I was the one that did the censoring on her OnlyFans banner. Not in the original video, just playing it safe here on YouTube. I don't know what she was claiming about deleting her OnlyFans, but that OnlyFans creator, Camilla, that's someone I made a video on a long time ago because she used her brother, who is a child, mind you, to help promote her OnlyFans page. She actually did that. So, Jamie Liz is not wrong. That did happen, and that shit is extraordinarily weird. Borderline a crime, by the way, to have children promoting porn, right? Like, you would think that's probably big time frowned upon.
How does it feel to have a sister that has an OF? My friends always ask me if it's pink, but I don't really know what they mean by that. NANI? Do you know? Jesus Christ. Click the link in my bio. I can't.
Marketing so innovative, Ubisoft is going to take a page out of her playbook pretty soon. So, that shit is indefensible. Now, Jamie Liz mentions that, calling it weird, which it definitely is, and then she's referencing, I guess, Camilla talking about how she's deleting her OnlyFans, but it doesn't seem like she actually is, thus she's scamming viewers. I'm guessing this game would be like, I'm deleting my OnlyFans, so come subscribe now while the content's still up, otherwise you're gonna miss out and it's gone forever. I'm just taking a guess, I'm spitballing because I can't actually find where she was saying that, but I have found a lot of people talking about it, so like a bunch of Reddit posts. In the least surprising news, Camilla has officially left OnlyFans to start selling people AI scam courses. Man, she is really just an absolute winner. Jackpot all around. Awesome. Going from OnlyFans to AI scam guru courses. And then saying also discreetly keeping her OnlyFans active. I don't feel like looking too hard to know if her OnlyFans is actually still active or not, if she followed through on deleting it. I have seen articles also reporting that she is now hawking baloney courses that are AI focused, so that seems to be her new hustle. And Jamie Liz, once again, was calling her out. And now, the big video where she was calling out Sophie Rain.
So Sophie Rain just posted a video showing her fake OnlyFans statements once again, and I'm about to poke a lot of holes in this shit. What color is this up here, guys? We can all see this, right? It's blue. It's blue, and this fake website that she fucking made, Jesus Christ. It's blue, yes? All right, let me show you real OnlyFans right here. Up here, white. White, not blue, right? Okay, next, when she says she reloads the page, let's get back to that right there. She's scrolling. She's scrolling. She's going up and down on the page. When you reload a page on OnlyFans, that's what happens. Every fucking time we get this little loading dial. Every goddamn time, it does not matter. On the white fucking screen, all right?
Yeah, to me that felt like kind of checkmate. The loading in particular. The screen, you could maybe say she's got premium OnlyFans that goes blue because she's top earner, top dog over there. Maybe you could mental gymnastics something there. But the loading thing, that's pretty hard to argue with, because that's replicatable. Like, if you have an OnlyFans and you, like, reload something, you can check for yourself. And based on what I'm seeing there and from what other people are reporting, Jamie Liz is right. Sophie Rain, when doing the scrolling, since no loading pops up, the OnlyFans logo doesn't pop up or anything like that, it does feel like that's fake. That does seem like that's pure dirty barnacles over there.
If this was really OnlyFans.com, down here, it would say OnlyFans.com, bro. You cannot zoom in and get rid of the browser when you're looking something up. Do you guys see this? You guys fucking see this? It does not say OnlyFans.com. Right here, OnlyFans.com. Let's load it again. Real fucking page. Load it again. OnlyFans.com. You scroll a little bit, yeah, it gets smaller. It doesn't disappear. You can't zoom in and make the fucking browser disappear. Are we kidding here, guys? Are we believing this shit again?
I'm not gonna lie. I had no fucking clue that the browser stayed up the entire time you were on web pages, but Jamie Liz is right. Wait, I checked it myself, not on OnlyFans, but like I just went on Google and I tried like scrolling around, I tried zooming in, and there was nothing I could do to just get rid of it. It does stay there the whole time. So if she really is on OnlyFans, Sophie Rain, if she is on OnlyFans and reloading like she claims she is, it would be there. That's pretty solid evidence, I would say. And I will also mention a lot of people, myself included, have been extremely skeptical of Sophie Rain's earnings. $90 million through OnlyFans in what, like 2 years or something? That is like inconceivable. And she blew up because she was like inundating Twitter with her ads. So she was having like rage bait being posted about her from all of like popular meme accounts constantly, daily, just trying to flood people's timeline with her just to keep her name out there. So it feels like it would be par for the course if she is also using these earnings, these crazy high numbers, to keep her name out there, keep it in people's mouths, to make people familiar with Sophie Rain's brand. And it is like eye-opening shit. You hear that an OnlyFans creator is making $90 million. She's making more than NBA player salaries. You start to pay attention to it. So the faking earnings does feel like it could be very in line with her marketing strategy, or if it's not her strategy, her management team's strategy, whoever's responsible for it.
I just find this shit incredibly sad and embarrassing that you have lied so much that you have to keep lying and keep lying and keep lying to cover up your lies, bro. Are you that insecure about what you're doing that you gotta fucking fake statements? You gotta tell everyone you make all this fucking money? That's how insecure you are, bro?
I'm sure any OnlyFans model could probably look at Sophie Rain's proof here and weigh in if it's legitimate or not, because everyone's OnlyFans earnings page is going to look similar. The only difference is going to be numbers. And since Jamie Liz does show like what the page should look like, and it's vastly different from Sophie Rain's, I'm inclined to believe her that Sophie Rain's is horseradish. Now, to Jamie Liz's statement here at the end that she's lying and faking these earnings coming from a place of like insecurity, I don't think that's what it is. Like I said, I think this is all just part of her marketing strategy. And I also think because she's like the face of the Bop House, I'm assuming she's also like an owner in some capacity of like the management team that's managing people like Piper Raquel. She's also using this as a way to lure more people into an OnlyFans career. By having these numbers constantly flaunted, there are tons and tons of girls that are going to see this and believe that this is like a really viable career option to make a lot of money very quickly. So they'll follow Sophie Rain and Piper Raquel's example. So I think this is also a way for her to try and get potential clients to sign with the Bop House or something like that, so her and her team can make more money off of them and their contracts. I think the whole thing is pretty scummy. It also preys on people that are in a desperate situation, which is a lot of people in the current day and age, where someone might see all this money that Sophie Rain and the Bop House is generating, these huge numbers that may or may not be accurate, and they just say, fuck it, I'm gonna do an OnlyFans too, and it doesn't go the same way it did for them. It is a scummy thing to do, and I think Jamie Liz is right to call it out, 100%. Now, again, I don't know a whole lot about OnlyFans, but what she's provided here seems pretty strong. Anyway, though, that's really about it. So, yeah. Good news, Tesla fans. Elon Musk has greased up his hog, and he is serving it to you whether you like it or not. I hope you're ready to gobble it down. Elon Musk is saying that Tesla full self-driving will switch to a monthly subscription and remove the one-time purchase option. Another beautiful entry into the you will own nothing and be happy future that we find ourselves in. We're now entering a new, even stinkier era where you can't even pay for the full automobile anymore. You don't pay to own it. Now, in order to get one of the most crucial components, like selling points of a Tesla vehicle, you will have to fork over $99 per month as part of this subscription plan, suckling on this subscription-based titty for however long you want access to the full self-driving features, which was a huge reason a lot of people were buying these fucking things in the first place. Previously, there was an option to pay $8,000 and you get the whole kit and caboodle. You get the Tesla and you get the full self-driving features. But now Elon said, nope, I'm taking the toys back. We are going to wean you off of this. Now, you can't even own the entire motherfucker. Now you buy the vehicle and then have to subscribe separately for the full self-driving features. It's insanity. So you can't even pay to own your whole vehicle. Now you can pay to get most of the vehicle, then you will need to start subscribing for the rest. You don't even get full access. It is just another step in this awful fucking direction in this subscription-based economy where every single thing, every single aspect of your life is becoming subscription-based. We are entering the future where you don't actually own anything. What you own is the idea of things, like your video games. They're basically just renting it. You're getting a permission slip from the benevolent developers to grant you access to the game for however long. In Tesla's case, Elon Musk is drip feeding you features as long as you subscribe. But when you have a Tesla now, you only get half of it unless you are subscribing for the other half. And there's no option to just own the whole thing outright anymore. He has wiped that shit out. And I feel like every person on the planet should have an issue with this kind of model here from Tesla. But because it's Elon Musk and people can't help but swallow his meat, it's an addiction more severe than Fent, they are defending it as if he's doing them a favor somehow. People are willingly bending over and applauding as these billionaires butt-fuck them to death. Like, as they get less and less ownership of things, they get happier and happier because the billionaires are telling them they should be. Unreal. Farting in your face and telling you that it smells like roses, and they're like, yes, it actually does. This is amazing. It's just infuriating. Because they worship this guy, they're willing to just roll over and just abandon what they pretend to believe in. It's craziness to me. Now, anyway, I don't want to harp on that too much, because instead, when I went to Elon Musk's Twitter account to see if he went any deeper on the Tesla subscription model now for full self-driving services, I saw this little annoying nugget here from the brain of a supposed free speech advocate. Teaching people to hate America fundamentally destroys patriotism and the desire to defend our country. Such teachings should be viewed as treason, and those who do it imprisoned. Wow. And he's referencing how high schoolers were polled, saying that many of them were taught that America was built on stolen land, and he is weighing in saying that that kind of teaching should be treasonous and the perpetrators thrown in jail. Very interesting take from the free speech guy who's probably fresh out of the K-hole. Elon, what the fuck, man? In what way does that even remotely fit into your narrative of being all for free speech no matter what? Let's just set everything else aside and we're just going to play ball here. Let's assume very bad teachers teaching mumbo jumbo. This is outrageous curriculum here. Well, then what has happened for 100 years now is that if it is not a good teacher, not educating students, and a bunch of gobbledygook that they're spitting out there that's not great, well, then the school usually fires them. But why does Elon Musk want to go a step further and make it a crime punishable by being thrown in the slammer? Why does he believe that teachers that are teaching students something that he doesn't like means that it's treasonous and should have them landed in the big house? That's a little fucking odd. That feels like it goes very much against the core principle of free speech, which is a right that Americans have. And his reasoning for this perspective is super laughable when you look at who he's best friends with, fucking exchanging saliva and group hugging in the shower with. He says that this kind of teaching destroys patriotism and the desire to defend our country. Huh. That's fascinating coming from you, Elon Musk. Do you remember only like a handful of months ago, not even a year ago, he made a tweet accusing Donald Trump of being in the Epstein files, which, by the way, Donald Trump is in the Epstein files. He deleted the tweet later, but he made a very public statement about Donald Trump being in the Epstein files, which is a hard insinuation of Donald Trump being a potential pedophile. And now he's buddy-buddy with him again, which I would argue is not the makings of a true red-blooded American patriot. And also, as for a desire to defend our country, Elon, Donald Trump is a draft dodger. Are we forgetting that? When the country called upon him to protect it, he wasn't enthusiastically going over to Nam. In fact, he cooked up 5 deferments as well as a bone spurs narrative in order to get out of service to protect this country. So as far as a desire to defend our country goes, you have made best friends with someone who has explicitly, provably avoided doing just that. This nation called upon patriots to defend it. America was calling out to Trump to defend her, and he said, ouch, my bone spur, and didn't do it. So I don't know what the fuck you're yapping about with the desire to defend our country when you are actually sucking the entire asshole of Trump, whom you have also accused of being in the Epstein files. Like, come on. This is absurd. And I could go on, but I also want to make a mention that I scrolled through Elon's Twitter a little bit because I was looking for something in particular. He's very selective with what he calls out as an attack on free speech because he's the free speech guy. But man, I tell you, sports fans, it's real weird how it seems to be crickets from Elon Musk anytime it's related to Israel talking about how they'd like to be able to work towards controlling the conversation around certain topics. Like recently with Netanyahu openly stating that he believes the most important thing would be controlling some of the platforms. Or even more recently, only a couple weeks ago, an Israeli cybersecurity billionaire, Shlomo Kramer, went on television and point blank stated to the hosts and all the Americans watching the program that he believes the First Amendment needs to be limited so that free speech can be protected. He believes that the government needs to control the platforms and that free speech needs to be more limited. I feel like that'd be something very eye-opening to anyone that gives a fuck about free speech, and Elon Musk being the free speech guy, I thought for sure he'd make a peep about it, but nothing. Weird.
So AI is going to revolutionize cyber warfare, is revolutionize cyber warfare from critical infrastructure to the fabric of society and politics and undermining it, giving unfair advantage to authoritarian governments against democratic countries, First Amendment type of...
That's already happening?
That's already happening. You're seeing the polarization in countries that allow for the First Amendment and protect it, which is great. And I know it's difficult to hear, but it's time to limit the First Amendment in order to protect it.
Dumbest thing I've ever heard, but thank you for sharing. It is refreshing to hear the perspective of a foreign billionaire saying how the First Amendment should be limited.
And quickly before it's too late.
What do you mean?
I mean that we need to control the platforms, all the social platforms. We need to stack rank the authenticity of every person that expresses themselves online.
Oh, now that's a really interesting play there. Yeah, that's like a fucking high-level football maneuver right there, John Madden level play. In order to protect free speech, we have to obliterate it, fundamentally. What he is saying is give control of the platforms to the government. And also, I'm not interpreting this. This is literally what he is saying out loud with his whole chest. The platforms need to be controlled by the government, and everyone needs to be unmasked before expressing themselves online. So anonymity gone, privacy gone, and free speech completely limited is the word he's using, but that nomenclature is not accurate. It would basically be fucking crumbled, and he is presenting this as though it is something that we need to be doing right now. I feel like this is a pretty big statement here that is very clearly against free speech, And Elon Musk, he will reply to like 50 follower accounts that just have some like dog shit that they drivel out, and he'll reply to them about free speech. Yet, this was a very big segment on CNBC, an actual televised program, and Elon Musk has nothing to say about it. Now, of course, Shlomo Kramer has no power to actually do anything with this plan that he's cooked up here, this idea that free speech needs to be limited, the First Amendment needs to be, gutted. But it's worth mentioning that Trump is basically Netanyahu's personal fleshlight, so I don't know how much power Shlomo Kramer holds in Israel or anything, so maybe he is able to lobby, for these First Amendment protocol limitations that maybe Netanyahu could whisper into Trump's ear. I have no fucking idea. What I do know is that he is saying this out loud in front of everybody, and yet the free speech guy, Elon Musk, has nothing he wants to say about that. I don't know. Feels a little weird.
And take control over what they are saying based on that ranking.
The government.
The government should
control the social media.
Should do that. And we need to educate people against lies, and government need to develop cyber defense programs that are as sophisticated as the cyber attack. Today it's a 1 to 100 ratio.
I figured I'd let him finish his stance here on limiting the First Amendment, about how everything needs to be controlled by the government here, so that way they can better get their hands on everything and everyone to ensure that, maybe free speech doesn't need to be as free as it once was any longer. Sounds pretty shitty to me. I hate that. I think that's fucking terrible. But, Elon Musk is a busy man. He's got 4,000 tweets to tweet out a day, so maybe he just didn't see this one, or, maybe he had drafted a few but forgot to send because, 20,000 others went into the front of the queue there from his drafts. Surely he's going to get around to talking about it. Even just something simple like, oh, I didn't like hearing that. Free speech is extremely important to America. In fact, me personally, Charlie, I would say free speech is one of the most important rights Americans have. And it makes me a little concerned that I'm seeing so much public normalization about the idea of potentially limiting it. I started seeing this back in like 2015, 2016-ish, and I've talked about it quite a bit since then. We have been slowly tiptoeing around this idea that maybe we need to look at free speech a little bit differently. And it's been getting more and more concerning, and as of late, it's getting out of control just how open this conversation has become now about no, we need to limit free speech. That's scary. Now, of course, that is again coming from a foreign billionaire. I haven't seen something that bold from anyone on American soil yet, but I feel like we're not far off with how this conversation's been developing, and that shit sucks. Anyway, though, I'll stop yapping about it for now. That's really about it. See ya. I've talked about this a handful of times and made quite a few videos covering this topic, but one of my biggest gear grinders or ass greasers, whatever you want to call it, is these fraudulent pastors exploiting people's faith for their own financial gain. And I'm sure you know exactly what I'm talking about, where a pastor is trying to convince their congregation that they have to give them money in order to save their souls. It's what Jesus wants, pretending that the Lord is speaking through them like a puppet. It's a ventriloquist act, and it's God saying, give all your money. The pastor needs more luxury items. Quick, fork over all the doubloons you can muster. And I think a lot of you know this by now. I've talked about it a bit. I actually got baptized twice. I wanted a second baptism because I was afraid the Lord might have been busy that day. Maybe he was AFK and didn't catch the first one, so I gave an encore performance with a baptism to make sure God saw it. Spirituality was once an extremely important component of my life, and while I'm not as spiritual as I was back then, this kind of thing is still just heartbreaking to me and just, I believe, downright evil and by all textbook definitions blasphemous, where these pastors will try and convince their congregation to give all their money to them, because he's misleading them into thinking that it's God's will. And I know Drewski just made a skit about a mega church and pastors, on fucking, wire displays like it's some kind of old school action movie. They got pyrotechnics going off, monster trucks and shit. It's out of control. They are literally flexing their luxury items on the congregation that is feeding them all of their money to do so. And I hate it. Now, I just saw a new, very bold approach from a pastor right here in my own home swamp again, Apopka, Florida, not too far away from Tampa, where Dr. Todd Hall proudly with his whole chest was demanding that his congregation give lots and lots of money.
I'm going to challenge 30 people without hook or crook to sow what Overseer Dean sold $200. 5 of you really want to do it and you don't have it, but there's 3 people in here that can give it to them so that they qualify. Here's the hard part of my offering or my request.
Okay.
And I've not done this in probably 20 years ago.
20 days.
But Lord said, I want to make a multi-millionaire out of someone, but they have to sow $10,000.
Hallelujah! Finally, an opportunity to be a multi-millionaire. God said he just needs a $10,000 upfront payment. That's all. Basically, like in RuneScape, you know, when you go to the Grand Exchange and someone says, I'll double your money, and you give them your money, you always get double in return, right? No one ever gets scammed with that. Oh my God, this is amazing stuff. Now, I couldn't find the original video here where Pastor Hall did this, so I could only find this through All Things Theology's YouTube channel, who was going over how absurd and ridiculous this whole thing was. And it is only going to get more and more unhinged. So he starts with like asking for $200 and then says, haven't done this one in a while, we're going to dust off an old play in the playbook. But the Lord is telling me he wants to make people multi-millionaires. So that means you're going to need to start giving $10,000 right now. Just the way this whole thing is even set up almost feels like it's a parody of this kind of evil, greedy pastor. He is delivering his sermon in front of a QR code in front of the congregation. And then on the video component, he's got a Venmo link to donate money to him there as well. It's like, this is like less of a church and more of a fucking casino than anything, except at least with a casino, there's maybe a slim chance you make a little bit of money when you leave. Here, you're just giving money to fucking Todd Hall.
Let's keep watching. Let's see what he has to say.
And they have to do that within 90 seconds.
That's right, baby. It's a speed run, so get your accountant on the horn right now. Call up Meemaw, tell her to flip over the mattress for $10,000. You reach in between the couch cushions. We gotta get it together, and we gotta get it here ASAP in 90 seconds. Otherwise, I'm not gonna be a multi-millionaire. Quick, we gotta act now. Find $10,000 fucking dollars and give it to Todd Hall!
If you're going to do it, get it now, write the check. If you do this, God said, I'm going to make you a multi-millionaire. I wish it was me. No. I'm saying I wish it was me because I got it.
So in other words, I'm not participating in this.
Oh, I love that. He's like, I wish it was me. Well, not because I don't have $10,000. I mean, I got that fucking all day, all night, baby. That's nothing. That is pennies. That's nothing. That's plebeian shit. I got that. The Lord isn't offering this deal to me, so I'm saying I wish it was me, because I mean I could easily fork over $10,000 to be a multi-millionaire that the Lord wants to, you know, bestow upon those who give the $10,000 in the next 90 seconds. I got that kind of money. You know I've got that kind of money. But now it's up to you guys. There's opportunities for all of you to come, you know, get $10,000 and give it to me, so that way the Lord can make you guys multi-millionaires. And I'm jealous. That's what, you know, that's what I'm trying to say. You know, it's such an incredible opportunity.
Because money does not have me at all. I control it. I'm like Cat Williams. He said the reason why I have a lot of it is I give 10% away on a regular basis because it belongs to God. I'm going to play it on next Sunday. You sold that within 90 seconds. It should be less than that. God said, I'm going to show you my face.
90 seconds already.
I'm going to show you who I am. And for the rest of your days, everywhere the sole of your feet shall trod, you shall possess the land. And everything kalasupa, and everything your hand shall touch. Now I'm laughing because he said the money I'm asking them for, I already got the replacement, but they don't trust me.
You don't want God to think you don't trust him, right? So why are you hesitant to give $10,000? Who cares if it's all the money you have to your name? Do you not trust God? Do you not think God's going to make you a multi-millionaire? Or worse yet, do you not trust Pastor Todd Hall, the most trustworthy guy on the planet, an emissary of God, whom communicates directly with the Lord? You're saying you don't trust that guy? Seems like you might burn in hell, swine. I hate this shit, man. I'll drop the sarcasm here for a second. It should be pretty obvious that this is completely fucking unacceptable. I think it is downright heretical. And what he is doing, and he is not alone in doing this, is brainwashing his congregation into basically accepting that he is the mouthpiece of the Lord and whatever he says is law and they have to follow it. So if he is demanding $200 or $10,000, in this case, both, they are having an obligation to fulfill that for the sake of, saving their souls or making sure God knows that they have, this trust in him. Even though, in reality, that is not what God wants. And what's actually happening here is he is taking that money and pocketing it. I don't think he's giving 10% away, by the way. I don't see that happening. I'd be very surprised based on everything I've learned about Dr. Todd Hall if that was true. But even if it is, it doesn't matter. This is clearly not some kind of command from God. This wasn't the secret 11th 10 commandment where you must obey every single tithing request from Dr. Todd Hall's mouth. This is completely fucking unacceptable.
I need 30 of you to get the $200. The person, if you're going to sow the $10,000, you will bring it up to Pastor Rockmore, Bishop, and you will get your release in Jesus' name. Everyone else, get $200. I want you to do it, women, especially who've had a difficult moment and get in the center aisle. I will not beg, but I will not stop till there's 30 there as fast as possible.
Now, he hasn't forgot the 200, right? So he asked for the 10,000. Now you got to the 200. Spoiler alert, he does ask for 30 as well for the people who can't give 200. So, I mean, they're going to get every financial group.
That's right. He's making sure to get everybody here. $200, $10,000, $30. He is demanding all of it. He says he's not going to beg, but he is. And it's even worse than just normal begging because this is like turbo begging 2.0. It's begging with a Fortnite skin of a pastor. It's despicable. It's completely despicable. And you can see, everyone gets up out of their chair, they get in a single file line, just as he's telling them to do, in order to give a ton of money. Money which, I imagine, quite a few of them can't afford to be giving up willy-nilly like this, especially with how expensive things are getting. Yet, here he is, demanding more and more and more and more, while he himself is doing very well financially, and he's not even afraid to let the congregation know that, letting them know, like, hey, I got it. If it was $10,000 and this offer was for me too, I'd be taking part in it, instantaneously, because I got it.
Hurry in Jesus' name. You that are watching by social media, you are involved as well.
Oh, you in this too.
Somebody shout hallelujah. I hear the person, in order for me to get this 10,000, I got to go to a special account. I don't care where you got to go.
What?
When I heard him say that, I had the same reaction as he did. What? And then just giggling. He is not even pretending to be like a good guy here. He is even calling someone out who apparently had made a mention about needing to do, something special with the account for it. And he said, I don't care what you got to do. You get me that $10,000. Todd Hall is more akin to a drug dealer than a pastor. It's crazy how more people don't see through it, but I also understand how it gets to that point. When you grow up in an environment where maybe this kind of behavior is normalized, it becomes extremely hard to break that perception where, pastor's always right. If the pastor is demanding $10,000, well, it's for the good of not only the church, but myself too, so that way the Lord knows I have this faith and this trust in the Lord, and he's chosen Pastor Hall to convey his message and his will to us. So who am I to question it? I will just give this money that I know I don't have and can't afford to give. I'll just give it all anyway, so that way it's very clear to God how much I love him. It's so sad to see that exploited. It is so heartbreaking. I genuinely feel terrible for everyone in that church that is now giving hundreds of dollars, thousands of dollars here, thinking that what they're doing is righteous because they're told that it is. But what they're actually doing is just lining the pockets of a very evil, greedy man. He is standing in front of a fucking QR code delivering this sermon. He has a Venmo link that takes up the majority of the screen on the video. It should be very clear that this pastor doesn't care about the Word of God or the Holy Scripture or anything like that. He is in this for one reason and one reason only. At least I think it's pretty clear, at least based on all this evidence. And it's money. He is here to shake people down for their fucking money like a schoolyard bully. It is so infuriating. It drives me up the fucking wall, man. It really does.
Now, when I used to be Prophet Hawley, I pull off my shoes, I would call the account number. I'm not going to do that.
What?
This has to be according to your faith. Please, y'all, stand closer so others can stand behind you.
Hold on.
It's crazy. He's not even trying to hide how big of a scumbag he is. He's just being bold and brash with it here about how much of an asshole this guy is. I actually cannot believe it. I had to yap about this a little bit. I don't think I need to yap about it further. I think you get what's going on here, and it sucks. Anyway, that's really about it. So yeah, we're talking about something very serious today. Throughout the video, you're going to see my shirt changes. It's not some kind of like crazy, wacky, magic trick from America's Got Talent or anything. I actually filmed this video earlier this morning when the story first broke. It's the killing of Alex Preddy in Minnesota at the hands of border agents. And I made the video, but I was pretty heated and I wanted to kind of simmer down and take a break, so I went out before posting it. I just got home, and now even more angles and videos have been released that show beyond a shadow of a doubt that this is a 100% unjustified killing of an American citizen here. And it seems like the execution stems from them finding out that he had a gun on his person. His Second Amendment rights. In all of the videos that exist, there is not a single moment where he is reaching for the gun, brandishing it, threatening with it, or anything at all, and we have video that shows the entire interaction from start to finish. His name was Alex Preddy, a 37-year-old nurse who worked in the ICU at Minneapolis VA healthcare system, and according to the police chief, he is a U.S. citizen with no prior interactions with law enforcement outside of a couple of traffic tickets, and believed to be a lawful gun owner with a permit to carry. So for him to lose his life being shot multiple times by these agents, all because of him exercising his Second Amendment rights, which again, he wasn't trying to use as an intimidation tactic on the officers or anything like that. When they were beating him on the ground, pistol whipping him on the ground, they happened to see that he had a gun, apparently. He wasn't throwing it at them as like a threat or something, or brandishing it or anything. He simply had it on him, which he was well within his right to do, and he got murdered for it. This is completely unacceptable, and the fucking drones that are somehow like parading around like this is some kind of victory or something is sickening. It should be viewed as treasonous by any real Americans when you see this footage. And they had the gall to say that Alex Preddy was like the instigator, labeling him a domestic terrorist I saw from a couple of places, claiming that he approached these agents with a 9mm. He approached them with a gun looking to start shit. But that is not true. In all of the videos you see, he has a phone in his hands. Not a gun in his hands, he has a phone in his hands. No sane person would ever mistake a phone for a gun. This is blatantly obvious what they're trying to do. And it's something they've been doing a lot recently. Trying to tell you that what you're seeing isn't real. Trust their words, not your eyes. That is completely fucking outrageous, and people are willingly doing it. That's the craziest part. There are people that are like, oh, I saw he had his phone, but if they say it was a gun, well, that must have been a gun. I cannot believe we've reached this level of brainwashing. There are so many angles of this, and in every single one of them, you can see he has his phone in his hand, and at no point during this interaction did he ever, pull a gun on them or anything. And in fact, in one of the angles, you can even clearly see that the agents actually took the gun from him prior to him being shot. You can actually see what looks to be one of the agents disarming him, taking the gun out of its holster and running away with the gun prior to him being shot. And if that wasn't definitive, there is something even more clear that I think is completely irrefutable for anyone that's actually looking. An agent takes Alex's gun out of its holster in front of the agent that pulls out his gun and shoots him. So he can see the gun has been taken out of the holster. And it is clear Alex Preddy has both hands on the ground. He does not have a gun in them. And an agent reaches in and takes it out of the holster right before another agent pulls out his firearm and shoots him in the back. Just in case you somehow missed it, look, the agent in gray has his hand on Alex's weapon, which is still holstered. It was never unholstered. This agent takes it out of its holster before he runs away with it, and the officer right next to him is the one that pulls out his gun and shoots him. And now I want to show you the clearest video that shows everything that happened here and how it doesn't go how the authorities are saying that it did. That was Alex Preddy you saw walk by the camera right there. He has his phone in his hand, and then with his other hand, his open hand, no gun in it, is waving cars through. There is clearly no brandishing of a firearm here. He is not approaching agents with a gun or anything like that, and you will never see anything even remotely close to that happen.
What the fuck is wrong with you?
In this section, you can again see Alex Preddy has his phone in his hand, and now he's trying to get some of the civilians away from these fucking worms that are now starting to push them. And then one of them got pepper sprayed, and then he got pepper sprayed as well. And when he gets pepper sprayed, you can see his hand shoots in the air like a student about to try and ask the teacher a question. It is a wide open palm. There's no weapon in that hand, and in his other hand is still the phone. There is no gun anywhere here. And now this is when he starts getting beaten by the multiple officers there.
The fuck, people? The fuck is wrong with you? Honestly.
I'm gonna stop the video right here because this is when Alex Preddy gets shot to death. This fucking subhuman coward, you can see, pulls out his firearm and shoots him in the back, and then shoots him multiple times after as Alex Preddy lies on the ground. You can hear one of the agents says gun, and that's when this brain-dead troglodyte pulls out his firearm and starts shooting into Alex while he was still surrounded by his boys, mind you. This is like the antithesis to all training that agents go through, by the way, to shoot into a suspect while still being surrounded by authorities. You're going to get your own people shot too, by the way, you fucking moron, you unbelievable homunculus. So he immediately starts dumping into Alex because someone said gun. But the gun, from the other angles we can see, had already been taken away from Alex, out of his holster. You can see one of the other agents running away with it. But again, he was never brandishing this firearm. And as an American citizen with Second Amendment rights and a lawful gun owner by all available information, he was allowed to have that gun on his person. It is not grounds to execute a man because you fucking freaked out and panicked because the guy you were beating and pistol whipping with fucking 5 of your friends happened to be armed. He wasn't using it to try and like shoot anyone here or threaten them. They saw the gun, and then this guy just freaked out and murdered him. Shot him multiple times. This is indefensible. Completely indefensible. And the fact that they even took him to the ground in the first place and started beating him, with one guy pistol whipping him, by the way. In other angles, you can see a guy just like pistol whipping him like he's trying to hammer a nail in with his gun. Like, it should have never even been acceptable for that to happen. All Alex Preddy was doing was filming, and then when some civilians started getting pushed, he tried to help. And when one got pepper sprayed, he tried to help. From all available angles and evidence and videos here, it seems to be that's all he was doing. He even made an effort to try and show that he's not like a threat or something. Like he threw his arm in the air, wide open, nothing in his hand or anything. He wasn't fighting back against the officers. He got taken to the ground and then immediately started getting beaten. Like, all because he was fucking filming and trying to help other people around there, it seems. This is so fucking sickening. And the freaks that are cheering this on and parading around like this is something to be celebrated are just scum. You're not even American. You're a fucking drone if you actually think this is a good thing. All you care about is just like sucking wiener from the authorities now all of a sudden. You care more about just being on a team than you do thinking for yourself. It's fucking tragic. It is embarrassing. This is crazy now that I'm seeing people justify this guy's murder because he had a weapon. Wake the fuck up. This is America. You can carry weapons. I sometimes carry a gun in public. I have friends who every day carry. It is your right as an American to carry a firearm if you so choose. That is not grounds for a murder. And based on all of the video footage, all of the available evidence, this guy was not brandishing it or anything like that. Thus, he wasn't threatening anyone or about to shoot someone with it, so they had to kill him to stop him. That doesn't seem to be the case. They're now just using the fact that he had a gun as a justification to kill him. That should be extremely alarming to anyone who cares about 2A. Like, again, him having it should not be an issue. And any real, actual American, like a real patriot, should be arguing for his right to carry, because it is something that we have the right to do, and that should not be a justification for this man being killed by these agents. This point that they're trying to beat into the empty minds of a lot of people that are trying so hard to justify it is that the only people being arrested and targeted by ICE are rapists and pedophile illegal aliens, which is just not the case. There definitely have been rapists and pedophiles that have been snatched up in all of this, and those rapists and pedophiles that have been caught and taken away, that's good. They shouldn't be out there breathing the free air. Great. But that's not all that's happening here. You could also right now march into the White House and arrest everyone in the White House, and you would get a ton of rapists and pedophiles. Why isn't that happening? If the goal is getting rapists and pedophiles off of American soil, thrown in the slammer, taking them away from society, why is it only just walking through the fucking streets of Minnesota trying to do it? You would get significantly more rapists and pedophiles if you took ICE and brought them to the White House. An administration is actively covering up a massive child sex trafficking operation and letting tons of evil people get away with this, tons of clients. So if the goal is to get this kind of evil out of this country, why would you not start with what is provably a spot that has so many of them? Also, that belief of like a secret pedophile ring was a very popular one among Trump voters for the longest time. And now that it has been proven beyond a shadow of a doubt to be real, legitimate reality, they are now just ignoring it. They have been proven correct that there was a huge pedophile ring of these powerful politicians, but because some of their favorite politicians are potentially wrapped up in it, they just want to drop it and forget about it. Absolutely unhinged, by the way. It's crazy. So many people for the longest time were adamant against like government surveillance and Big Brother watching them being a huge concern. Now, plenty of people are welcoming it with open arms and a huge smile on their face. For the longest time, people would be preaching about the importance of the Second Amendment and gun rights. And now, even with this, they're saying, well, he had a gun, which means that's an executable offense. So it seems like they now no longer believe in Americans' right to own guns or carry guns, which was a core component of like the right for a long time, where there was like this big fear about they're coming for our guns. And now the same people that were arguing like to protect that are now arguing against it, saying, well, this guy deserved to die because he had a gun with him. It's a fundamental right of Americans to have guns, gun ownership. You can carry them in public too. Like that, you shouldn't be killed for that. And in the footage here, it doesn't seem like he was brandishing it or anything. And also, the same people that only like a year and a half ago were constantly telling you to question the government, that you can't trust anything that comes out of the government, the authorities always lying to you, are now just willingly, blindly, unquestioningly following anything authorities tell them to believe in, and shut out any and all thought and just have the hive mind think for them. It is crazy because it seems like the only actual belief of some of these fucking brainwashed drones is relentless cock gobbling, All they want to do is swallow boots and penis from the government. So if the administration or the news, which they used to hate the news, but now that the news just parrots points from big government that they like to clap their hands at like seals, they now just trust all of it all of a sudden, even though there's been no big change with these mainstream media outlets, by the way, that they used to not trust only a year and a half ago. But now, anytime they hear something from the news or anything that comes from the government, they will just immediately accept without a second thought, and then attack anyone else that is saying differently, or even just probing them to maybe think a little bit more about the narratives. Keep in mind, the government themselves are currently not even complying with their own laws that Trump has signed, like the Epstein Transparency Act, where the DOJ is still putting up a fight and are over a month late to compliance with releasing the Epstein files. They are still fighting tooth and nail to not release them, and even recently, only a week ago, outright said maybe there's no court that can force them to order this. They didn't even say maybe. I gave them a very charitable thing right there. They actually said courts can't force them to do this, and that if they don't comply, there's nothing anyone can do. They can't be sued. If the DOJ doesn't comply, go fuck yourself, pussy. That's basically their sentiment. They are not complying with their own fucking laws, and yet people are still willing to overlook that in order to just keep like playing for the same team. It's like it's a competition to see who can think the least and who can regurgitate enough from the hive mind to be like the biggest super fan of their side. It's fucking despicable. It's actually crazy. This is real sheep behavior. I know a lot of these people like to say sheep, sheep, sheep for the longest time, but now they are actually the epitome of that. Here's just a little thought experiment if you can break through the programming for a second. Imagine what's happening in Minnesota was happening under Obama or Biden, where there were masked agents that were constantly surveilling you, and even at times asking for your papers, your documents to prove you're an American citizen, constantly needing to provide your private information to these masked agents. And these agents also had killed 2 American citizens. What do you think your response would be? Would you be like, oh yes, please, everyone needs to comply with this. This is good. This is what I want. This is what I look for in Obama or Biden. This is what I'm happy about. Would you be as excited then as you are now in that scenario? My guess would be probably not, because you would rightfully view this as an infringement on your rights as an American. Your Second Amendment right, where apparently even carrying a gun now is a crime punishable by death. Like, this isn't something anyone should be championing for, but because it's become such like a team-focused sport, people delude themselves into thinking that they have to support this, and thus they will abandon all of their beliefs in order to stay on this side. It's crazy to me. I truly don't even know what the solution here is, because people are just willingly, on their own accord, no longer trusting what they see and what they know to be true. They would rather just have the government tell them what to think and what's true. So that way they don't have to do any level of thought for their own. How do you fix that? I genuinely do not know. I have no idea. I don't know how you can watch this footage and multiple angles of this situation and still come out trusting the government's word on the series of events that unfolded when you can yourself watch the footage and prove them false. What do you do to someone that just refuses to at least try and see things clearly? I don't know, but it's fucking tragic, and it's only getting worse. It is so fucking out of control. I had to yap about this. I've been actually fuming all day. So yeah, that's really about it. So yeah. About 5 months ago, I made a video covering the tragic story of a streamer named Raphael Gravin, known online as Jean Parmenov. He was a streamer who was, for a long period of time, physically and verbally abused by people he considered to be his closest friends for their kick content. And they were in the middle of a kick marathon where Jean was once again the punching bag and the spittoon for them to basically torture throughout the entire thing. And after enduring so much exploitation and abuse, he eventually passed away on stream during this marathon. It is a disturbing, horrible thing to watch, and it is an extremely sad story. Obviously, people were very upset, rightfully outraged about the whole thing, so there were calls for action to try and get some justice here, get these kick streamers held accountable for their potential role in his passing. And I wanted to give you a little update because it's been a while. This had been a lengthy investigation that is still ongoing, but 2 streamers here involved in this have been taken into custody. Owen Sinanzin, oh, I sound like a fucking idiot. Wow, I can't read that last name at all. I sound like I'm malfunctioning, like someone's got me on the DJ's turntable and he keeps remixing it. Owen and Safine Hamadi. They were taken into custody yesterday as part of a months-long probe into an on-camera death broadcast via the Kick platform. Now, many of you might remember the initial response from those involved in this marathon of abuse was to basically deny all responsibility, saying things like, his health was just bad, he liked to smoke and stuff, really bad stuff. Sucks to see him gone. He was like my best bud, my best pal. I love that guy, man. I'm real torn up over it. I can't believe it. But I had nothing to do with it. You guys are fucking stupid for thinking I had something to do with it. In fact, you're the monster for even thinking that me on camera beating him and, strangling him and all this had anything to do with his passing or anything at all. Ridiculous. That's been their whole strategy, is to just deny it and pretend like they're best friends and they're still so torn up that he's gone. Can't believe that this happened. It boiled down to them just playing a sad song on the world's smallest violin about how everyone's being so mean to them without stopping to consider their feelings about their friend dying during the stream of them abusing him for many days. And then, at one point, if I remember correctly, they even threatened legal action for people saying some defamatory things or whatever. It was a fucking mess. It was embarrassing and cruel. But it looks like French authorities are not buying the crocodile tears here from those kick streamers. They're being held on charges including assault, incitement to hatred, abuse of a vulnerable person, and recording and broadcasting violent images, according to the chief prosecutor. Now, you'll also notice in the paragraph above that an autopsy revealed that the death was not caused by intervention by a third party. This means that Raphael Gravin did not pass away due to physical trauma or any injuries that he suffered at the hands of the streamers or anything like that. It was due to other medical conditions. So you'll notice that they're not pursuing charges of like homicide. They're not trying to get these big slam dunk charges of these streamers killed this man on stream. Instead, they're going for what is clearly evident in all of the footage of their streams together. Physical abuse, assault, stuff like that, which I think is pretty obvious. You can watch them do that. That is the bulk of their content. They were abusing this man. They were exploiting this man. And they were recording all of it for their content, and they were making money off it. It was their careers built off the back of their abuse of this man. It is fucking sickening stuff. So even though he may not have passed away as a result of all of the abuse he suffered from them, it certainly didn't help his underlying medical conditions in any way, shape, or form. We also have that text message that Raphael Gravin sent to his mother, talking about like how awful it is, the abuse that he suffered, that kind of thing. So they certainly weren't exactly angels here, and they didn't do anything to help him in any way. Even if they weren't directly responsible for his death, I definitely think it didn't help things at the very least. And these charges, I think, are probably pretty strong. I would imagine they stick because you can watch all of them yourself. It's all just right there at your fingertips. It would be shocking if they don't end up behind bars. If this doesn't lead to them going to the slammer, I really would be stunned. This had been many months investigating. There is hours and hours and hours worth of content showcasing their abuse of this individual. I feel like it's an extremely strong case, but we'll see how it all shakes out. If you remember, they were actually taken in by authorities a while back, but they were released. This, I do think, is different, especially after months of investigating, so I'm pretty confident that there will be at least some level of justice here for everything they did. What that looks like with time in jail, I don't know. I guess we'll see, but this should be a very severe punishment. What they did to that guy is beyond fucked up, and his passing is extremely sad. So yeah, I just wanted to kind of give you an update here to the story, and really, that's about it. So yeah.